ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Friday, February 13th. I'm your host, Paul Swann, for this edition of Your Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK. That is 304-396-8255. We've got a lot to get into today. Of course, Marshall baseball on the road earlier today, getting the win over Evansville 5-2. We're going to hear comments from head coach Greg Beals. Also, softball in action right now at number 5 Florida. We'll get you a final score update if we can before the end of the show. And of course, we are definitely going to have to talk about the report that came out today. This is from Pat Forty. And Marshall followed that up with a statement. But first, let me tell you what started this today. There have been reports circulating today that the Marshall women's swim team is going to be cut after the season. And again, all of these, at this moment, this is rumor until confirmed. Nothing has been confirmed. Now, I say that, but I do want to qualify that right now this is just a rumor. It has not been confirmed. But Marshall University has followed up with a statement. I'll read that to you now. And it goes as follows. Over the last 6 months, the Marshall Athletics Administration has conducted a comprehensive review of all programs to support a sustainable future, one that maintains a high-quality student-athlete experience while exercising fiscal responsibility. We recognize that a review like this can be difficult and deeply personal for the student, athletes, coaches, staff, and families who invest so much in their teams and in Marshall. We understand the uncertainty this creates and care deeply about those impacted. Any decisions regarding our athletics programs are subject to review, discussion, and approval by the Marshall University Board of Governors. Once the institutional process is complete, we will have further comment on the matter. So this comes out today from Marshall University. Ultimately, this is Marshall saying, we know what's being said right now, and we're doing a review of our athletic programs, and we can't comment. That's it. That's pretty much in a nutshell. Now, ultimately, it's going to come down to the Board of Governors. Any recommendations made from the athletic department will go to the Board of Governors. There is an agenda for February 17th. So there's an emergency meeting, a special meeting. So that's going to be at 12:30. And the information item on the committee is Athletics Department update from Gerald Harrison, Vice President and Director of Athletics. And then there's an action item related to Athletics Department update. So this is it. This is the meeting. It happens on February 17th. Now, again, the agenda has to come out several days before the actual meeting. So we have the agenda, and that could probably be what has been reported, that the Marshall swimming program is going to get the axe, or it's no longer going to be sponsored at Marshall University. What happens next, we don't know, because we're right now in that speculation part of the story. There's nothing that is firm that we can say this has been confirmed, this is actually going to happen. But everything you put together, it kind of lends to what we had already heard, what we know, is that there's going to be an action item on the agenda Tuesday. More than likely, it's going to be the swim program. And of course, reaction from you, social media today, there were a lot of people upset about it, and I understand that completely. So we'll get your thoughts on the matter, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255, to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. If Marshall has to lose a program, is this the one yet you would part with? Ultimately, you don't want to see any program cut, right? I think that's fair to say. But if there has to be a cut made, is this the program that you would target? You look at the sports sponsored by Marshall University right now. And I've seen this earlier today. People ask me, hey, what about Title IX? Marshall's not going to do anything that's going to violate Title IX. There's nothing going to come down that will prevent Marshall from being a Division I university. Title IX will be upheld. You're going to see probably a reduction, though, if that's the case, as far as what scholarship monies are given, scholarship waivers. There's a whole formula to try to compensate and to compete in this new day and age. Name, image, and likeness. It has exploded. It has opened up a difficult box for Marshall to reach into because you're going to have to fund the athletic department. You're going to have to be able to be competitive with the finances. And unfortunately, you're going to fall behind if you're not keeping up with the Joneses, to use the old cliche. And so Marshall right now sponsors baseball. That's not going anywhere. Basketball, men's and women's. That's not going anywhere. Cross country, football, golf, both men's and women's. Soccer, both men's and women's. Track and field, both men's and women's. Softball, volleyball, tennis for the women. And then swimming and diving. Of all your sports, which one maybe makes the least as far as revenue brought in? Which one costs more and doesn't bring in the revenue to cover the cost? What's the return on investment if you're looking at this from a financial point of view? To be cold about it, just matter of fact, which one of these sports bring you the least amount of return on investment? Now, I'm talking about finances only. I'm not talking about opportunities given to student athletes and the educational opportunities that they will benefit from for the rest of their lives, or the experiences they have, or the fact that you are going out there bringing individuals in that maybe wouldn't have a chance anywhere else. You're going out, you're bringing these individuals in. They're going to get the opportunity to go out as a better person. And maybe that pays differently in how they treat the university in the future. Donations, participation, anything. I mean, we can go over all of that. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we're looking at this purely from a what makes sense to sponsor and what doesn't. And if you look at right now which sport is on the outside looking in, it might be swimming and diving. So we'll get your reaction. I want to hear from you. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255 to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. You can find me on X as well, at Paul Swann. We'll read a few of your replies. That's all coming up. This is The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This Valentine's Day, create a space that feels warm and welcoming with help from Menards. Whether it's a small refresh or a big project, Menards has the tools and materials you need. Build something together and make your home a place you both love coming back to. Don't forget the sweets for your sweetheart. Get a 6-ounce bag of Russell Stover chocolate candies for $3.99 now through February 14th. Save big money and finish your projects together at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Looking for midweek fun? Head to Frank's Place, where every night's a party. Wednesdays are full of brains and brews with trivia night. Grab your crew and show off what you know. Thursdays, crank it up with Singo Bingo. Music meets bingo for prizes and laughs. Then Fridays, we hand you the mic for karaoke night. Sing your heart out and start your weekend right. The fun never stops at Frank's Place. Great drinks, great friends, and good times. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check them out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Cold weather's on its way, and what do you want on those cold, chilly evenings? A warm blanket and a hot cup of cocoa. Well, you know who else wants the same comfort? Mice. Messy, uninvited guests. They sneak in and leave droppings, chew through your food and packages. Don't let mice take over your home this fall and winter. Call K&B Pest Control. We will kill for your business. Call today, 304-523-4281.
Kindred Communications is proud to welcome WSAZ to our family of stations. When you listen to your favorite Kindred station, you'll hear the trusted voices from WSAZ you know, with the WSAZ First Alert, forecast, and the latest news. WSAZ and Kindred Communications, working together for the Tri-State.
Mark Porter Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is having a President's Day sale. What a sale it'll be. With all the snow, our vehicles are stacking up. 2025 Ram 2500 heavy-duty pickups save up to $15,000. 2025 Ram 1500 save up to $17,000 and 3.9 for 72 months. 2025 Jeep Wrangler save up to $10,000. 2025 Jeep Gladiator $9,000 off. 2026 Jeep Compass save $5,000 off. Shop 24 hours at Mark Porter's MarkPorterCDJR.com or MarkPorterRam.com. 2026 Ram 1500, save up to $11,000. Car Ferry says no one sells for less. 2026 Chrysler Pacifica minivan, save $6,000. 2026 Jeep Grand Cherokee L, save up to $7,500 cash off. 2026 Dodge Durango, up to $5,000. All new Grand Wagoneer and all new Jeep Cherokee in stock. 2026 Ram 2500 pickup, save up to $7,000. Come to Mark Porter CDJR, Route 32 and Mayhew Road, Jackson, or Route 7 and Laurel Cliff Road, Pomeroy. We need your trade. See us today. Sale ends March 2nd. All rebates to dealer.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
Text line is open, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Let's get to the text. Later on, we're going to hear comments from head coach Greg Beals, the Herd, getting the win earlier today over Evansville, 5-2. Texter wants to know, Paul, didn't they just hire a new coach for the swimming and diving program? Yes, we hadn't had a chance to really ask for him yet. And depending on the outcome of the Board of Governors meeting on Tuesday, we might have an opportunity, we might not. But Marshall did hire Tommy Wynn as the new diving coach. That came out back on January 28th. So that was, a week or so ago, a couple weeks ago? So, yeah, they did hire someone. And again, we don't know if this was in anticipation of having a program or this was something that you needed to hire someone. Maybe the program's going to be safe, maybe not. And again, I want to preface this by saying at this point, we're speculating based off reports that the swimming and diving program is going to be cut at Marshall University. So it's tough when you find out on social media, isn't it? Now, I don't know what the behind the scenes are of anything at the moment. So I don't know what's going on directly. But if there is a review in process, which the statement from Marshall University has indicated, I would think that review would include, of course, the necessary conversations with coaches and the programs that are involved. And again, this is going to go to the Board of Governors. Board of Governors might go, you know what? No, we're not crazy about this. Or the Board of Governors might go, okay, your decisions are sound. You know, it's a tough ask, but we agree with you. And so we're going to eliminate swimming, and that's going to, of course, impact a lot of coaches, student athletes. What happens at the facility now? You have one of the few competitive venues for swimming. What happens there? Do you repurpose that space in the short term? Do you shut it down? Is it still available for high school competition? There's a lot of questions that probably come after a decision like this. And again, we're going off the basis that the reports are true and it's going to be swimming and diving that will be cut from Marshall's athletic programs. And you got to look at the Sun Belt, because right now the swim and dive program doesn't even compete in the Sun Belt. It's in the American because it's an affiliate member. The Sun Belt doesn't sponsor swimming and diving. The Sun Belt instead sponsors almost every sport that Marshall participates in, with a couple exceptions. Originally, soccer was not sponsored, but it came back on the docket after Marshall joined, and a few other programs came in as affiliate members. But right now, Marshall competes in baseball, a Sun Belt sponsored sport, basketball, this is men's, cross country, football, golf, soccer, not men's tennis, indoor track, outdoor track. And then on the women's side, Marshall and the Sun Belt competes in basketball, not beach volleyball. You have cross country, women's golf, women's soccer, softball, tennis, indoor track and field, outdoor track and field, and volleyball. These are all the sports that the Sun Belt sponsors. And so if you're trying to align with cost and you're trying to align with trying to be competitive, this isn't even a Sun Belt sponsored event. This is not a program that's sponsored. So you have to either find a place for that sport to compete or you do away with it. And it's tough to say, hey, we're going to do away with your program. Now, how many of you actually have been to a swim meet? keep that in mind. It's tough to say, hey, we're doing away with this program, but how many of you have actually been to a swim meet? How many of you have been to the Henderson Center and watched the team compete? On X, a poster says, Paul, this is surprising. How will the loss comply with Title IX? Additionally, the timing of the review is literally when the new AD started. Was this something already in the works or something he initiated? Very disappointing for athletics, or very disappointed for the athletes. I can't answer to when this review began. It's a 6-month review. And I would think that the new athletic director would come in and look at everything and go, all right, what are we doing? I agree with that. We continue with that. No, let's do something else. I would think that anything that is happening in the athletic department, the athletic director has signed off on or initiated, one of the two, because he's the current athletic director. He's also vice president. And so he would have to give the thumbs up to whatever has continued or whatever is going on now that's new. And he was probably tasked with, okay, this is the new landscape. How do we make this work at Marshall University? And so he's probably going to come in and say, look, I got to review everything. I got to see what we're doing. I can't just come in day one and go, all right, well, we're going to do this, and this. Yeah, he's an intelligent individual. He's not doing this by the seat of his pants. You know, he didn't start becoming an athletic director like yesterday and then got the job. This wasn't one of those on-the-job training situations. No, he's been successful. He comes into Marshall. His job is to make Marshall successful, make Marshall fiscally responsible, and still provide a competitive landscape. Marshall's got to be competitive. Marshall's got to be responsible fiscally, obviously, because the new reality that is college athletics. But at the same time, I don't think that he didn't just wake up and go, you know what, I think we're just going to cut this program today. I don't like the water. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter says, Paul, if Marshall cuts swimming, the athletic director is going to be very unpopular. Appreciate the text. Is that true? I'll ask. I'm going to ask the rest of you. Is that true? Would the athletic director become unpopular if the program is cut? I'm sure for a lot of people that support that program won't be happy. That's a given. But would this be a situation where you hate to see it go, but you understand we don't even know what the action item is on Tuesday? And again, I say that knowing that this is what's been reported out there. Then there's the action item. There's the statement from Marshall University about a review process that has been going on for 6 months. When you look at what has transpired today and you see the agenda for Tuesday, the information item, and then the action item, we put 2 and 2 together. Swimming, that's the program that you look at and go, okay, if this is true, that makes sense. And of course, this is several days. I mean, this agenda is on February 17th. The American Conference Championships are February 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st with potential NCAA opportunities. You've got the diving zones coming up after the championships as well. And so this is where Marshall's at right now as far as the schedule right before a conference championship. Texture says, Paul, I've been to a couple of swim meets. I would have gone to more, but they don't schedule that many at home. Having said that, get rid of track and field sports. It was gone for many years anyway, having been restored just a few years ago. I appreciate the thoughts there. Let me answer that one. You've got the indoor facility now, and you're able to host events, and that gives you a lot more flexibility when it comes to recruiting as well. And it's also a situation where you have some student athletes, a lot of it's football. This was some of the reasoning that was at least expressed to me. Take it for what it's worth. But some of the reasoning expressed to me was, hey, it gives an opportunity. We've got some recruits that maybe want to compete not just in football, but they'd like to run in track as well. They'd like to compete in some track and field sports. And so you have that now. It's okay, hey, you want to come to Marshall, you want to play football, that's great. Hey, and we've got this opportunity for you as well. If that's something you want to explore after football's done, you've seen that at other schools. And so you remember when Randy Moss ran? He was fast, wasn't he? It makes sense from a synergy, and I hate that word, but it's the only one that fits, a synergy point that, okay, we offer track and field. Now, I don't know if I feel good about, honestly, saying, okay, defend your sport today, but I'm going to have to ask, defend your sport today. Texter says, Paul, I feel the normal person or fan doesn't really pay attention or even care about finances. They just hear that a program is eliminated and feels bad for student athletes. Or at least I think that's the thinking of the majority. So I think they will not be happy with the athletic director. That's a good thought. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, if you listen to this program, you probably care about finances and athletics, right? I mean, it's something that you like hearing about. You want to know. I mean, I get questions all the time, and hopefully I can answer most of them about little things that maybe the normal casual fan, I don't want to say that derogatory, but the casual fan, you just show up to Marshall games and events and you know the Herd's playing, you're excited, and then you go home. You don't even know who Paul Swann is. You don't tune into the post-game shows. You'll catch him on TV sometimes. You're, oh, hey, Marshall score. Oh, hey, cool, Marshall won. Yay, go Herd. You'll do that, but you're not into it. You're not on message boards. You're not on social media. You're not following it hour by hour, minute by minute, or maybe your only exposure to anything that's going on is this show. And so, yeah, you're coming in, you're driving home, and this is the first you've heard about this today. And you're like, what's going on? A lot of people do care about the finances, and donations are a big part of it. Remember, it used to be, hey, we need to up our donations to Marshall University. And now you got to find different opportunities to generate revenue. Of course, with premium spaces at the Henderson Center, premium spaces at the football stadium, and those spaces are being used for more than just football. It's for entertaining. Hey, if I ever want to have a super duper birthday party, birthday number 55 is coming up. Maybe I have it over the Dutch Miller deck. Who knows? I couldn't afford that, but maybe I want to have that there. Big happy birthday, Paul Swann on the big scoreboard there. Maybe Gerald will make that happen for me. Who knows? But those are the kind of things you can do now at Marshall University. They're opening up more spaces. And it's because you've got revenue sharing. You've got to find a way to fund everybody's scholarship, or at least fund everybody's education. You're trying to do all of this. And at the same time, you're trying to stay competitive on the field of play or in the field of competition, whatever it may be. And you look at, okay, swimming and diving. What do we get from that? And the texture's right. I've been. If there were more, I might go, but there haven't been. How much does it cost to support a team? How much does it cost to travel? How much does it cost to keep a coaching staff on hand and to maybe keep the facility running? I mean, you just don't open up the pool and pour water in and go, all right, let's go. There's always going to be cost involved in everything you do. And so what's the cost compared to what you're taking? And I think we're at that point now. It's like, okay, we're taking X amount of our budget and it's going here. We think that we can provide a better experience, and I'm just speculating, but the conversation is going to be, we can provide a better experience for the rest of our sports, but we have to make the tough decision to cut this program. It'll be short-term painful. We'll do our best to support these student athletes and thank them and these coaches and all these supporters. But for the overall health of the program, we need to look at removing it and the cost associated with it and applying those costs and those energies elsewhere. And we won't know if that's going to be the program selected. We're just speculating based on reports that this is what's going to happen. And again, if you didn't see the release earlier from Marshall University, it was sent to select members of the media quickly after this went out so we could spread it. And again, it says that Marshall has conducted a comprehensive review of all programs to support a sustainable future, one that maintains a high-quality student-athlete experience while exercising fiscal responsibility. I posted the entire thing on my X account at Paul Swann if you'd like to go read it. And, of course, we're taking your comments there as well. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That is the number to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
In fact, those cracks on your walls aren't just cosmetic. They could mean your home is sinking. Whether it's drywall cracks, exterior cracks, or sticking doors or windows, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to stabilize your foundation. Baker's Waterproofing and Basement Authority of West Virginia are now Groundworks. Schedule a free inspection.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Metro Community Federal Credit Union now brings you all the tech that big banks have, but still has that personal touch of a member-owned community credit union. Apple Pay? Got it. Digital wallet? Yep. Message pay by text, online loan payments, even chatting with a real person, not a bot. Open accounts, sign documents, and manage your money all online. It's the big bank tech you need from the local community-minded credit union you trust. Metro Community FCU. Visit metrocommunityfcu.com today.
Naughty But Nice has reopened in a new location, 1336 Greenup Avenue, Ashland, Kentucky. Same products, new location for all your adult needs. Stop by our new location, 1336 Greenup Avenue, Ashland.
Our Kindred Communications family of stations reminds you of the need for blood donations to the Red Cross. Blood is always needed. It may save your life or the life of a loved one. This reminder is brought to you in part by
Ichiban Chinese and Japanese Restaurant, 204 3rd Street in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Patriot Rentals and Supply, build better, rent smarter, where the tools for success are right at your fingertips. In Patriot, Ohio.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
It's game time, and Food Fair has everything you need to feed your home team. From hand-battered chicken tenders and sauced wings to meatballs, party sliders, and fresh veggie trays. Food Fair makes hosting easy. Just order the perfect catering tray and pick it up at the deli counter. Some locations even have grab-and-go trays, and you're ready to serve. No cooking, no stress, just great food. Food Fair. Game time made easy. Get more at foodfairmarkets.com.
All right. I know this isn't any fun to talk about, but we should. So, who's going to do what? Flashlights?
Nowhere to be found.
Batteries?
Dead.
Great. Emergency supply kits?
Not packed.
What about blankets?
We have an old towel.
Good enough. Cell phones?
May not work.
Emergency water?
Not a drop.
And what about food?
Nope.
Perfect. We all know where we're meeting if we're separated, yeah?
The library. Aunt Joan's house. The bus stop.
Great. And I'll be waiting here wondering where you all are. Sounds like we don't have a plan. Who's up for mini golf?
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency. Who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information. A public service announcement brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Our text line brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK. That is 304-396-8255. Welcome back to this Friday edition of Your Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We've had a lot of activity today for the Thundering Herd. Baseball getting the win over Evansville, starting off the season right, 5-2 win, starting off the season 1-0. Softball right now, the last update I got, Marshall trails 6-3, top of the 7th. So softball taking on number 5. Florida, it is 6-3, top of the 7th for the softball team. Speaking of Marshall baseball, with that win, it means baseball is back. Thundering Herd starting off right. Marshall picked 4th in the Sun Belt. That's an improvement. Greg Beals earlier speaking with a few of us after the game, and he is excited. He said opening day is an exciting day.
it was an early start for us. You know, we had a 7:30 bus and early BP, but the boys were ready to go. And just a great pitching performance from Bryce Blevins to set the tone for our ball club. And once Avrilla hit the home run to tie the ball game up, I think there was no looking back for the Herd today.
Blevins, 7 innings of 1-run baseball, just 2 hits. Coach talked about his performance.
Well, it's a great first start, and Bryce has been throwing the ball extremely well all preseason. Exactly what we needed. We took him right to, one of my charts says 79 pitches, 83 pitches, somewhere in that range. That we were looking at the 80 mark was where our comfort zone was in the opening. He was in total control of the ball game. If it were May, he would have finished that ball game. But in February, we got a long season ahead of us. I want to protect his pitch count. You guys know Bryce. He's a competitive son of a gun, and he didn't want to come out of the game. But, it's our job to manage these guys and make sure that they're going to be sharp in May when it's championship time, and hopefully in June in postseason play. So it's a long season. He did his job today and just really good. And like I said, just in total command of the game. We commit an error with 2 outs. They sneak a ball down the left field line for a double and for their own, for the only run off of him, and it's unearned. I think the one stat that tells you about the command of the game is he was 7 for 7 in leadoff outs. So leadoff guy out in all 7 of his innings. Bryce can pitch. I mean, he can pitch. He knows what he's doing. Really competes. So that's vintage Bryce Blevins today.
So the Herd gets the win. Positive starting off 1-0. What's that mean? What's this win today mean? Coach was asked. With this successful start, what does this do for the team moving forward?
Well, I'm proud of our guys. I'm proud of all of them. The entire team. It was a challenging preseason with the weather we had, and we were stuck indoors for 3 weeks. Fortunately, our indoor facilities allow us to do a lot. But it's not the same. It's just not the same as being able to be outside and having to control the running game. Our pitchers were facing our hitters every day live, but you're simulating whether a ball's a hit or not. You're not trying to control the running game. There's just so much that we missed in that time. But I feel strongly that our pitching and our defense is a strength of our ball club, and we pitched and played really good defense today.
Bullpen came up strong as well. Thundering Herd with the win 5-2, and without that bullpen support, this might have went differently. Coach talked a little bit about how resilient this bullpen was during that start.
Well, and Charlie Krebs goes out and throws the 8th inning, gives up a blue pit down the right field line. And then rolls a double play ball to get out of it on a good breaking ball down that got the guy to roll into that double play. And then they got a couple of good swings off of him in the 9th, and I just thought it was time to change it up a little bit and bring a fresh look in. And you bring Peyton Jackson in, and he's firing on all cylinders and goes 4 straight balls to put the tying run on first base. There's never an easy day at the ballpark. Here we are sitting in a game where I thought we were in control of the game. We got the tying run on base in the 9th inning, but then Peyton made a great pitch to finish the ball game. A 1-ball, 1 strike. He threw a really good slider to roll a routine ground ball to shortstop, and the Herd wins. So our guys made pitches when they needed to, which I think Anthony is speaking to what you were kind of getting at. Like, even in some jams, we made some really good pitches when we needed to. And that's one thing we really harp on from our competitive toughness mindset is like there's going to be moments of adversity, and great players and great teams make plays and make pitches when it's needed. And we were able to do that today.
A.J. Havrilla went 3 for 4, had a homer. Also, Cooper Henson got his first dinger of the season as well. Coach talked a little bit more about AJ's performance and progress.
AJ's a professional hitter, and he's still in college, but he's a professional hitter. He just knows how to hit. And he got a 2-ball, no strike pitch, and he hit it out of the ballpark. We were in man on second base and nobody out, and we needed to move a runner. He hits a line drive to right field. The guy can just hit, and deep home run to left field. Really hard hit line drive to right field. Just has the ability to do all things offensively there.
And finally, Coach wanted to talk a little bit about not just the dingers, not the sexy stuff, as he kind of described it, but the fact this team was able just to go out there and manufacture runs.
The one thing I'd like to further comment on in the offense, obviously we hit the 2 home runs, but the fifth inning, I believe it was, we manufactured 2 runs. We got a leadoff double, and it doesn't look sexy in the scorebook, but Cam Harthen intentionally gets around the ball and hooks a ground ball on the pull side of the field. So worst case scenario, we move the runner to third base. He gets that job done, situational hitting. Havrilla then comes up in the next at-bat and does the same thing. Then Jackson Halder comes up in the very next 3 at-bats in a row with offensive execution. Holt gets a sacrifice fly on a well-hit ball to left field to score the 5th run of the ballgame. Thundering
Herd with the victory today over Evansville, 5-2. Thundering Herd starting off the season 1-0. Herd's got a doubleheader on Saturday. You got Evansville at 11 a.m., and then you got a game against Kennesaw State. That's coming up at 4 p.m. tomorrow. We'll try to keep an eye on all of the baseball action coming up tomorrow. We've got Marshall basketball for your Valentine's Day evening right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
At Poca Valley Bank, a handshake can still mean the start of a great relationship. We've been greeting customers with a handshake since 1908. Why settle for less? If you're purchasing your first home or planning for your future, Poca Valley Bank is here to support you with personalized service and local expertise. They are your trusted advisors. Why settle for less when you can experience banking with a team that truly cares? Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Visit PocaValleyBank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Stuck in a state of falling behind, struggling to keep up with kids, finances, insurance, and life? Well, let your State Farm agent help you simplify and get to a better state. With State Farm handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time to handle everything else. More money, too. Adding State Farm policies can earn discounts that could add up to 40%. Help you get ahead. Call an agent today and get to a better state with State Farm. In Huntington, Ray Crabtree, 304-736-8181. In Milton, Russ McRae, 304-743-9318. And in Lavallette, Jason Elkins, 304-529-7555.
Looking for midweek fun? Head to Frank's Place, where every night's a party. Wednesdays are full of brains and brews with trivia night. Grab your crew and show off what you know. Thursdays, crank it up with Singo Bingo. Music meets bingo for prizes and laughs. Then Fridays, we hand you the mic for karaoke night. Sing your heart out and start your weekend right. The fun never stops at Frank's Place. Great drinks, great friends, and good times. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check them out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Kinder Communications is proud to welcome WSAZ to our family of stations. When you listen to your favorite Kindred station, you'll hear the trusted voices from WSAZ you know, with the WSAZ First Alert forecast and the latest news. WSAZ and Kindred Communications, working together for the Tri-State.
Start new in 2026. Get a new Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram from the Car Ferry. 25 Ram 1500 3.9% for 72 months and save $12,000 off with 10-year 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. 25 Ram Heavy Duty, save up to $10,000. 2026 Jeep Compass, $3,500 off. Jeeps. 2025 Wrangler, save up to $11,500. Shop 24 hours at markportercdjr.com or markporterjeep.com. 25 Jeep Gladiators, save up to $6,000. 2026 Jeep Wagoneer, up to $6,000 off. Ram and Jeep have already lowered their prices thousands of dollars, so shop us again. They know they raised their prices too much and fired the guy who did it. Now is the time to save, and Mark Porter is the place. 2025 Ram ProMaster, save $7,000. 26 Ram 1500, save up to $10,000 off. 26 Dodge Durango, save up to $4,500 off. 2026 Pacific Minivans, $4,500 off. Come to Route 32 Mayhew Road, Jackson, Ohio, or Route 7 and Laurel Cliff Road, Pomeroy, Ohio. Over 200 available. See at markporterram.com. Save now. Sale ends February 2nd.
Looking for fun, learning, and community events for all ages? Visit the Greenup County Public Library. Enjoy weekly story hour, family movie nights, creative crafts, and engaging after-school and homeschool programs. There's something for kids, teens, and adults alike. Join a book or garden club, dive into hands-on projects, and connect with new friends. Check out the events calendar and register online at greenuplib.org. The Greenup County Public Library, where learning, creativity, and community come together.
When Dad needed help getting around, I became his driver. Any daughter would do the same. But soon enough, he needed help doing more things, and it was up to me to be his personal shopper and financial manager, too. And before I knew it, Dad moved in with me, so I became his cook, his personal assistant, his physical therapist, and even his nurse. When I started taking care of Dad, I didn't realize all the roles I'd have to play. But no matter what, I know I'm still his daughter.
We understand the many roles you play. And to help, we created an online caregiving resource center. At aarp.org/caregiving, you can find resources and connect with the caregiving community. Together, we can better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving to learn more. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talk Line, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
We continue on with this Friday edition of Your Drive. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Thanks for being a part of it here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line this hour, 304-396-TALK. It is brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. And again, that's 304-396-8255. We've got a final now. The Thundering Herd falling to number 5, Florida, 6-3. Thundering Herd competitive in this one, but Florida's really good. That's just the way to describe them. Florida's really good. Thundering Herd battling to the end, however, falling 6-3. We'll get your text in just a few minutes. We've been talking about Marshall's victory today, starting the season off with a win over Evansville, 5-2. And of course, the other story of the day coming out from athletics is the fact that there could be a sport that is cut next year, or as soon as feasible. There's an action item on the agenda. There's a special meeting, Board of Governors. It's on Tuesday, February 26th. It's going to be 12:30 p.m., and there is an athletic department update followed by an action item. Earlier today, reports surfaced that Marshall University administration has informed everyone involved that the swimming program would be cut after the season. Of course, this agenda item comes 2 days before Thundering Herd will compete in the championships of the AAC. Of course, Sunbelt does not sponsor swimming or diving, so Marshall is an affiliate member of the American Athletic Conference, and those championships begin on the 18th. This action item is on the 17th. Here's the big thing to contemplate right now. What if you're competing for a championship and you find out that this is it? This program is done. What do you do? How do you process that? Knowing that, okay, this could be it. Now, it's different when you know you're leaving. The transfer portal is kind of funny in this way, because with the transfer portal, students can leave, go elsewhere, and with the transfer portal, there will be options. How many of these student athletes would stay at Marshall University just to complete their education? If this was the avenue for them to have a shot at getting an education, some of them may stay. Some of them might go, okay, I'm going to go elsewhere. Some of them can't go elsewhere maybe. Who knows what the individual situations will be. And at the end of the day, of course, it's always bad to hear, hey, Marshall's cutting a sport. These students won't have an opportunity to compete anymore as a Thundering Herd student athlete. And that's what a lot of people hear. The reality might be that Marshall can't afford to support this program, or the investment made in this program and its estimation would bring greater value elsewhere. And then what do you think when you hear that? Hey, we're not important. What we've done here is not important. We don't bring any value here. We cost too much. They like having us, but they can't afford us, so we got to go. That's got to be demoralizing, I would think, as a student athlete hearing this. And you might be hearing this, on social media. You might not even know, or there have been conversations. You haven't been blindsided by all of this, but just the thought process alone that, okay, I've got to go focus. I might have an opportunity here to be really competitive at the championships and create some value for myself, to borrow a phrase from Coach Charles Huff, create value. But then you keep this in the back of your mind that, where am I going to be next year? If you're someone that was happy with Marshall and you wanted to stay, and then you don't have a place to stay. And of course, then if you perform well, you might have an opportunity to go elsewhere. The transfer portal always is going to be open, for these type of transfers. And if the program's gone, then it's going to be interesting to see how many student athletes stay, how many student athletes decide to go elsewhere. Was this their outlet for higher education, or was this a opportunity alongside of what they want to do at Marshall University? How's that work out? And then what happens to those student athletes that maybe can't get anywhere else in on an athletic scholarship or find a new landing spot? What's the burden to them going to be, and how will the athletic department handle? Because it doesn't come cheap for higher education. It's not cheap at all. Marshall's affordable, but still, there are costs involved. You're going to incur cost, and depending on what sport you're participating in and what the university is doing for you, some of that cost was deferred. Some of that cost was put aside. Now what happens? So these are questions we're going to find out on Tuesday. At least we'll find out what the right questions are, what the right answers are, if this impacts swimming and diving, if this is something that is going to have short-term ramifications, long-term ramifications. What's your opinion going to be once it's out in the open? Again, that's an action item that'll be on the agenda Tuesday, February 17th, 12:30 p.m., Board of Governors special meeting. And, of course, they have to advertise that, I think, at least 4 days before the actual meeting. So it's today, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, then Tuesday they'll have the meeting. And is this something that you feel bad for? You feel bad for Marshall losing this program, but ultimately that's it. You just feel bad. And, okay, the money's going to go to football. Sure, okay. Hate to see swimming go, but something had to go. And if it's going to help football, good luck, right? Is that kind of an attitude you're kind of thinking of right now, that you feel bad, but if it's going to help football, go Herd? Now, I know there will be some that are understandable. Hey, hate to lose anything. And there'll be some that are, look, that's just the cost of business. You got to cut ties, do it quickly. You got to refigure, and you see this all the time. Hey, we got to make cuts so we can be fiscally sound, or the health of the program. And I don't know how much that the swimming program really costs when you get down to it. How much is chlorine? I mean, we're getting down to the micro management of this now. How much does a lifeguard cost? How much is chlorine to clean the pool? How much is all of that? And, of course, it's going to free up resources you can put towards other parts of the athletic department. It's going to, not just financial resources, it will free up maybe physical resources as well, people resources, because you're trying to pull off a swimming meet and everything that comes with it. And so what will happen to the facility now? Will it still be used? Will it still be available for high schools? And will it still be able to serve the community in that capacity? I mean, will you be renting that out? I mean, will shutting that facility down save you more than you would, keeping it open? How much does that cost? Is it minimal to keep it open for other uses, or are you shutting it down completely and that's going to save you a little bit more as well? We don't know all or any of this right now until we see what that information item is before the action item. We do know that the report is out there. Texter says, get rid of track and field. I'm with the other texter. Appreciate the text. And with that said, we're out of time. We're going to be back with you tomorrow. We've got Marshall basketball, Thundering Herd taking on Georgia Southern. That's going to be a 7:30 airtime right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. And then we'll be back after the game with our post game, and then I'll be with you on Monday for the show. Tuesday, we will have a little bit more information on what happened at the Board of Governors meeting, and then we can follow up after that. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Have a great and wonderful evening. And for those of you that will be tuning in tomorrow, thanks for joining me for Valentine's Day. Also, earlier today, it was USA women's hockey winning in the quarterfinals, 6-0 over Italy. Good day all around for a lot of things. Unfortunately, for the swimming program, not the same case. Have a great night, everyone.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington, your flagship home of the Marshall Thundering Herd and The Drive with Paul Swann, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.